All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Blend Blazers Podcast with your host, Ricardo D. Rice. And it's another lovely day in the A. And I am really excited, but y'all see her bobbing over here in her chair. So I'm not the only excited one today to have Dr. Kiki Ramsey with me in the studio. How's it going today?
Woo woo. It is going fantastic.
She's not used to being out of the house, y'all. So
I'm not.
I really want to throw that in there because she's not used to being out of the house. So she's been bouncing off the walls and just being a delight since she got here. So today we're going to talk about a lot of things. You know, I've noticed a lot of your topics, so I'm really excited to hear about a lot of those things. But first things first, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Dr. Kiki Ramsey, and I am a positive psychologist and an executive coach. And I really help leaders and mainly women learn how to find joy and balance joy and happiness in the imbalanced life. Because
that's the thing. That seems like an oxymoron.
I know, it is.
To find. So there's two things you're gonna have to explain out of that statement. There's two things you're going to have to explain out of that statement. The first one is, now what kind of psychologist are you?
I'm a positive psychologist.
What is that?
Yes, it is a person who has studied psychology, but we study the strengths in people, right? So let me just explain it really quick. Psychology is a deficit model. So anytime we think about the psychology, what do you think about? Depression, anxiety, all of the ailments, right? That's the basic. That's the baseline. But if that is the baseline, then the opposite of that is positive psychology, which is a science that studies strengths in people, which studies resilience, happiness. And you've heard of the science of happiness before. You've heard of people thriving. And so really positive psychology is all about looking at what's good in a person versus only thinking about what's bad or what we have to work on. And that's mostly what people do, right? Like we always think about, all right, what do I need to do in my life?
Happiness.
Exactly, right? But you already do things that are amazing. Look at you on your podcast and everything like that. You're already really good at some stuff. And so positive psychology focuses on the good and not just the bad.
So is that the offset to what we think psychology is?
I mean, it is the opposite of psychology. It's been studied for 20 years. It's empirically studied. And so the founder of positive psychology is Martin Seligman. And about 20 plus years ago, he was at the APA, American Psychological Association. He was the president. And he said, listen, we are continuously only studying what's wrong in people. But there is always a flip side. What goes up must go down, right? Like there are people in this world that see the glass half empty. There's also people who see it half full, right? So let's study the positive. And so that's what I do. So I help leaders, I help women, I help all people learn how to tap into their own strengths so that they can be better and continue to show up in the world as their best selves. Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, so I was going to start someplace else, but now that you said all that, now I want to go someplace else.
Okay.
So this has got to be like, at the core of this has got to be like purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's start there. Like, how do people discover purpose? Like, what is the part it plays?
Yeah, I love that question. And I actually wrote a book on purpose. It's called Get Courageous Now, A Woman's Guide to Finding Her Passions and Purpose in Life. I think we get purpose really mixed up in our lives. Everybody has purpose. I mean, everybody has that thing in them that they can do better than anybody else, right? Like, we all have that. And the reason why we can do it better than anybody else is because we're unique individuals. Everybody is a unique individual. There's nobody else like you. There's nobody else like me, right?
Facts.
And so, therefore, we can show up from a place of strength and do that thing, right? One of my purpose in life is to really pour into women and help them find greater happiness and success in their lives and their careers, right? That's my purpose. So when you think about purpose, you have to think about, what do you do great that's going to serve somebody else, right? Where are you strong at? Now, a lot of times we think about, when it comes to purpose, oh, I'm good at all these things, right?
Especially us.
Right.
Black folks tend to be good at a lot of things.
We are good at a lot of things, and that's okay, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But there's really an overarching purpose that you're really good at. And then all those things can fall in underneath it. And that doesn't mean that they're not your purpose, but you have an overarching purpose. My overarching purpose is to really speak into the lives of people, to help them become more successful and happy, right? That's my overarching purpose. But here's where we get it mixed up. we a lot of times don't understand the vehicle, right?
I say these things all the time.
Yeah,
I
see,
really
know
am
you.
smart. I really am smart.
I know you. No, I mean, it's the truth, right? Like, so although my overarching purpose is to pour into the lives of people and help them find greater joy, happiness, and success, how I do that is through speaking. I'm on the Blend Blazers podcast today, honey.
But sheezy.
Okay. So I do it through speaking. I do it through writing books. I do it through speaking engagements when I'm out, in the corporate America, speaking at conferences and stuff like that. That's the vehicle. It still falls underneath the overarching purpose in our lives, right? But the vehicles may be different, and the vehicles change with time, right? So your job right now may not be your purpose. You might apply for something else, and it is directly in line with what you were meant to do, right? And so how do you find that? I think that a lot of us don't use the resources that are out here in the world to find it. I'm an executive coach, right? So I think that sometimes if we cannot find our purpose and don't really know that, I think engaging a coach is a really good way. But there are ways that we can even coach ourselves. And what I mean by that is you need to have a subset of questions that you really answer for yourself and go on a self-discovery journey. Right? Like a lot of us don't know how to sit with ourselves. When the last time you took a break and just did nothing but sat with you and your thoughts?
I've learned how to have dialogue with myself, so I can do that now. But
Right.
previously, I think you probably know, most of us don't want to sit with our thoughts because you really have to be honest about a lot of stuff.
Exactly. And so I think that we need to sit with ourselves and be like, all right, what is it that I really want in my life? Like, what is it that I really want? So that's really one great question is to ask yourself is, what do I want out of life? Because here's the thing. Most of us think about what other people want for us, right? We've been programmed, right, in our lives to think about what others want for us, like our mom, our dad, our sister, our brother. And instead of thinking about what we want for ourselves, we'll listen to their voices. Even when we're trying to figure out what we want for ourselves, we continuously go back to their voices, which is why finding purpose a lot of times is a process that we have to go through. But asking yourself, number one, what is it that I truly want out of my own life? And sitting with that question. And number two, what is it that I do amazingly at, right? What am I good at? What is my superpower? And then when you really get those to answers to those questions, then you start looking for different ways to put that into your life, right? Like, so if you're looking for another job or looking to really understand your purpose, if you know that you want to, I'll say, be a VP of an organization or something like that, but you are a manager in a different organization, start looking for that type of job.
But the VP?
Mm-hmm. Start looking for that type of job. Because here's the thing. You're going to see what the requirements are to get that job, right? You might have the requirements. You might not. If you don't, now you got something to work towards, right? Now you got something to work towards. And so I was just talking outside when before I came into the studio to one of the gentlemen here, and I told him that God has shown me automatically that I'm supposed to have a nationally syndicated show, right?
I can absolutely believe that.
On television. Like, that's me. Like, hey, Tamara Hall, hey, girl. Okay. Right? He showed me that, right? But prior to that, and that's part of my purpose, right? That's part of the vehicle that he's shown me that I should, speak. But here's the thing. My show is on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and it's on podcast, right? It's on podcast. I had to start somewhere.
Facts.
Right? Like, a lot of times we think we see this big purpose in our life. Like, I've known this for a long time. And I'm just looking at my clock like, Lord, hey, brother, I know. I know what I heard, but at the same time, I need to be faithful and start where I start. You have to be faithful and start where you start because you have a vision for what you want this beautiful channel to be. But you had to start somewhere. So I think we may see the vision, or we might get hung up on the beginning steps that we have to take in order to disseminate our full purpose in life. But it's going to take some steps in order to get there. But in the process, you're still living out your purpose.
So let me ask you this, because I like that point. So how do you know if you're missing steps that are you and not him? Like, how do you know the difference? Like you were saying, you got to start somewhere. But a lot of people do what you were just saying. It's like, okay, well, Jesus, nothing's moving. And he's looking at you like, it is moving. You're not moving, but I put stuff around you. So how do you know when there's that space, that gap, that is actually you versus him?
Yeah, no, I think that awareness is something that we just don't have a lot of in our lives, right? And I can even sit back and think about some things that, that I'm aware of now that I wasn't in the past. And I'm going to go back to actually sitting down and really figuring out who you are and who you want to be, right? You can't discern God's voice from somebody else's voice if you don't even know your own voice. Like, you can't, if I don't know who Dr. Kiki Ramsey is and how I show up to this world, then I'm not going to be able to hear the voice of God or hear the voice that, hear the voices that God put in my path for my good. And I'll give you an example. Dr. Jamil Ramsey, my husband, hi, babe, amazing. But I am a strong...
I bet you pronounce it that way. This is just probably not going to end well. I already know this. Whatever she's getting ready to say is not going to end well.
I'm just saying.
But go ahead. This is not going to end well.
I am a strong Black woman. I'm just saying, right? And thank God for my husband, because he's strong too. But baby,
tell you this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well.
Let me just tell you. We don't fall to the death of us sometimes, right? When I want something, and and so it's been hard. Now let me just say, we going on 20 years.
Facts. Y'all have kids, right?
And we have kids. We have two young. Well, we actually have 3 kids: an adult son and a 4-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. So, don't I look good, boy?
You look amazing. That gap.
It's a 22-year age gap. A 22-year. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother podcast. But no, so with us, right, I'm strong. I've always been strong. I'm always be strong. That's just who I am, right? But because I'm so strong, I was very headstrong sometimes. And I didn't want to listen, even though... he's always been my partner. He's always had my best interest in mind. And so I had to learn me. I had to learn when I'm wrong, and I had to sat down sometimes, right? And that's hard for somebody who's like me, and I know what I want, I know what I need, I go after it, right? I'm that girl. And so I had to learn, okay, Key, you don't be making the best decisions sometimes, but he told you that, right? He's the wise counsel that the Lord has placed in your life, but you don't listen to him. So I had to really realize that about me, though, right?
Yeah, actually, you might need to repeat that for the people in the back of the room, because I have a sister. I have 4 sisters.
Ooh.
And the oldest girl is like you. So I need to repeat that again for the people in the back of the room. I love you, Lee, but this is kind of for you. This is kind of for you.
No, hey, girl, hey. No, it's true. God, I truly believe, places wise counsel in our lives. And when you can't listen to nobody, we have problems. That's the truth, right? I think everybody has to have somebody who they look up to in a way that can pour into us, that we actually listen, right? So if God was your wise counsel, then you need to listen,
so we can avoid some of the pitfalls
right,
that we get in,
because they're coming, right? They're coming, but they could be softer sometimes, right? Because we're going to have challenges, period, point blank, in the story. But the challenges could be different, and we could land differently, right, than landing straight on our butt every time something
face.
bad, our face,
or
every
face.
time something happens to us. And so, yeah, I had to learn that. And once I learned that, the things in my life started coming together a lot more. I didn't like listening to him. Let me say, I don't like always listening to him.
The fact that these things look so painful for you to say is slightly concerning. Slightly concerning.
I mean, you know what? What it is real life. Right? This is real life. I am very much like, hey, we need to stop talking about the play and really show up in real life. And real life hurts a lot of times. And that's even what your podcast is all about, right? Bringing real life to the world, because a lot of times we playing around with this thing and there's real life situations that are happening to us and we're not getting the message. We're not figuring that out.
All right, so in that, I like where you at. I like the space we're in. So that's because I don't really get into a whole lot of partners and marriage and stuff, but when I can, I do.
Okay.
So once you came to that realization, how did your communication have to change between you and your husband, the way you communicated with him?
A lot. And I will say we are always still a work in progress, but we are 55,000 times better than what we used to be. We used to go toe to toe. See, my husband does not, in a sense, between us, right? He doesn't like conflict. So between us, I mean, he can go toe to toe here, but with us, right? He doesn't like conflict. So if we're having conflict, he used to be the one that would always say, "I'm sorry," or "Let's talk about it." But I'm the type of person. No, I don't want to talk to you. I'm gonna ice you out. I could not talk to you for a couple days.
You to shut down.
Oh
type.
Yes, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear that. And so I knew that wasn't right though. So I had to change the way that I communicate with him, because in order for us to stay married, which I wanted to do, we both got to come to these problems and challenges in a different way. And there's also something else that we agreed upon when we were going through our struggles and trying to actually get through. And that was, I'm not intentionally trying to hurt you. Mm-hmm. I might hurt you, but it's not intentional. And so for me, as long as I'm a wife and I can understand that my husband, Jamil, did not intentionally mean to hurt me when he said that thing, or when he did that thing, then I can be okay and forgive him as we talk about it and those things. And so that's a rule between us. And we also do quarterly check-ins. And what that is normally we go on our little date night to dinner and stuff like that. And I'll say, "Okay, babe, how am I doing?"
Well, that's cute.
It's cute, right? Because, you know what I'm saying, we in public, so we can't fight. So
let's keep it cute.
Let's keep it cute, right? Like, we in public, so we can't fight with each other. And so it's honest, but we also know we have to be super, super honest in the moment. And being in public helps in the sense that we can't get pissed off and get mad because the other person said, "Okay, I mean, you're not doing so hot in this area over here." But we do that check-in to keep us accountable to what we said we want to be for each other, which is the best partner, the best spouse we can be to each other.
Did that require changing listening, like the way you listen when he says stuff?
Absolutely. And it's still hard sometimes, but I ask more questions. See, as a coach, right, I learned how to ask more questions and then hear, right? I ask questions and then I listen, right? I don't listen to respond. I listen to listen.
People don't think that's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing.
It's a huge thing.
It's a thing.
Right? Because most of us listen to respond. Like, you say something and I say, I'm like, I can't even wait till you finish saying what you're saying before I'm ready to jump in, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what we do, especially in relationships, but not just relationships at home. We do that at work. We do that in a lot of our relationships. And so I have 4 and 5-year-old son and daughter, and I even have to practice listening to them because a lot of times we dismiss our children, right? Because we like, oh, they're kids, they're small. But my kids are super smart, and you find out things when you actually really listen. I'll give you an example. I have sister locks. Sister locks group. Okay.
which are very maintained. They look very good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And my daughter she kept on saying to me, hey, mommy, I want Goldilocks. I want Goldilocks. I want Goldilocks. Now, my hair is colored. You see it's blonde, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm thinking my daughter wants color in her hair. So you're not getting dye in your hair at 4. Like, it's just not something Goldilocks. You not getting gold hair. You're not getting dyed hair, right?
You think about the fairy tale, she probably talking about something completely different.
Right. And so I said, hold on a minute. Let me just listen to what she's talking about. I said, hey, mama. I said, you keep on telling mommy you want Goldilocks. What are Goldilocks? She said, mommy, it's those small little things that are in your hair. She wasn't talking about the dye. She was talking about sister locks. But she calls them Goldilocks. And I said, oh, because I wasn't listening to her, right? I wasn't listening to her. I dismissed her, right? And instead of trying to listen and understand what she was telling me. And so now my daughter's 5 and she's had her Goldilocks for a whole year, right? But it's because I listened. And we don't do that often.
We really don't. And whether it's home life, office life, that's a very big point. Like, listen, I had to get on the employee of mine. I was like, you're not listening. Like, people are talking to you. You're still new. You're not listening. You don't know how to do this job well. You're listening. You're doing it with me now. Why? You're doing it with me now. You have heard nothing I said because you can't wait for me to finish so you can respond. That's not even based off anything I said. Right. So we're not even having productive communication because you're not listening.
Yeah.
This organization and the unbalance in life.
Yes.
Talk to me about it.
Yes. So, unbalanced life, right? Like, so I talk about finding the joy and the happiness in the unbalanced life. And what I mean by that is balance in itself is not obtainable. It doesn't exist.
I've heard that before, and I was like, wait, what? But I think I
Okay.
changed the channel before she explained. So.
Okay, let me explain it to you. Balance, the definition of balance is really finding an equilibrium and making everything the same, right? Make all equal parts. So you either got 10 10s, 2 50s, right? 5 20s, right? So it really means giving the same amount of attention, the same amount of time to all the things that matter to you in your life at any given time. That's impossible to do.
Yeah, it's
right?
like mathematically possible.
It's mathematically impossible. But so I say this though, when we talk about the unbalanced life, we are always going to have all these facets and all these things to go to do, right? Like you got the show, you got work, I got kids, I got a husband. Those things are unbalanced. They're going to stay that way. You're not going to get rid of mostly, well, I hope you don't want to, right? But I mean, we all are going to work. We all got family and connections and stuff like that. So that's the unbalanced life. So my thing is, why not find joy and happiness in all of the chaos, in all of the clutter? Because the clutter is not going anywhere. And inherently, balance is not real. Like, you can't get it. So what I say is, instead of trying to find balance, why can't we find harmony?
Oh.
Harmony is how the things in your life, all your values, all the things that matter to you work together for good, right? They work together for you. Your harmony, your harmonistic balance is not mine. Mine's different. Mine's might be comprised of 50% work and hopefully 50% kids and family, but that might not even be it, right? It might be 50% this, 10% that, 5% over here, 3% here, but that doesn't mean that any of those things are less important, because at any given time, they could flip-flop in terms of the priority that they actually show up in your life. So at the baseline of finding joy and happiness in the unbalanced life is to be intentional and to prioritize. So I am, number one, intentional about the things I'm going to give my time and energy to. And then on top of that, I prioritize them from day to day because
Facts.
day to day can look different, right? And I think that we don't wake up and we're not intentional. We're not intentional about what we give our time and energy to. And there's a lot of time and energy suckers out there in the world, right? Like, and there's a lot of non-emergency emergencies
Facts.
that we have to end up tending to, but we were not intentional in the beginning for ourselves, so that all these other things that don't really matter, that we don't really value at the moment, don't suck out all our energy and we're not able to get stuff done. So I work with a lot of high level VPs and CEOs of organizations and stuff like that. And a lot of them are really stressed out, especially even moms and stuff. Like, we have motherhood, we have work, and we're still even trying to rise to the top, right? How do you do that if you can't find that harmony in your life? And that's what this is really all about, is finding that joy. Because along the way, this is still going to be going on. But at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy the journey, also, because life, I don't know about you, but life is just not promised the next day. And I think that we're living in a day and age where people are just dying.
Any day could be your number. That's what I said. I think COVID really brought that home. It's just like, I had family members that were like, you've never been sick and now you're dead. Like, from this, that we still can't explain what it is.
Exactly.
Like, it's okay. What are the offsets? Like, when I go to change my life and walk this out, what are some of the offsets? 'Cause I got some in my head. I want to see if they actually come up. Like, what are some of these offsets when people try to change their life that you encounter with your clients?
So I think that number one is just the stress, right? Like, stress. Like, when people are trying to change their lives, they encounter a lot of stress. And I think that that's normal. Right? Stress is normal. But too much stress causes burnout.
And heart attacks.
And burnout is a diagnosable disease.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can go to the doctor and get a letter to go to work and say, this person is burnout. They need a couple days.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not.
And it says burnt out on it.
Yeah, it's a
thing.
It's a thing. Burnout.
Ramsey, you pulling my leg. That is not a thing.
Go look it up.
And it's gonna be on a daughter's note that says, Ricardo is burnt out, so he can't come to work. That's the wording.
Yes, it's the wording. And doctors have other ways of wording things.
I was about to say,
right?
it was worded some other way.
They may word it other ways, but it is a diagnosable. DSM-4, well, I don't know if they're on 4 or 5 now, but DSM disorder, because it literally has physiological ramifications for the stress that it has caused on our bodies.
Wait, you gotta make this make sense. Like, is it parallel to a nervous breakdown or something?
Well, nervous breakdown can mean a couple of different things, but because nervous breakdown, at the moment you're not actually functioning at all, right? Like, but it can cause depression, anxiety, heart attacks, all of that stuff. So all of that is in the realm of what can be considered burnout, right? But at the end of the day, what we need to do is practice self-care.
Okay, see, now you're opening another can of worms.
I know.
I'm trying to stay focused.
I'm trying.
Because you're going in space I don't really get to talk about. So this is very interesting.
Okay.
All right, so when we talk about self-care, are we talking about, I'm going to get my nails done, my feet done? Or are we talking about something deeper that... Is there a surface self-care and is there a depth self-care, or is it all relative?
That's a good question. I think that we're going to go back to the person, right? In terms of what they need, right? What I need versus what you need may be something different. But if you think about so you asked me about a surface or a deeper level, right? If self-care is not rejuvenating to you, then it is not for you, because self-care is meant to rejuvenate you and give you the rest that you need in order to be better, right? So I'll give you an example. Me and my husband have a different idea what vacation should look like.
This is not where we're... This is not going well either.
Right? So I'm the kind of person, say for instance, we're going to Mexico, DR, whatever, that I want to do all the things. I'm doing all the excursions. I'm jet skiing.
You know people I leave at home.
I'm skydiving. I'm zip lining. I'm hiking the mountains. I'm doing everything like that. My husband, he want to sit on the beach with a book.
I'm with your husband. Now, you may get me to do one or two things, but we're not doing all of that the whole time we're there. Like,
right. He's supposed to sit on the book. And I can't remember where we were at. And he was like, we just going to go sit on the beach. I said, okay, great. So he's right here chilling with his book, his headphone, whatever he's doing. And I'm reading the book and I put the book down and I'm looking around and he's looking at me and I'm like, I'm going to go dip in the water. He's like, okay. I go dip in the water. I come back. I sit down. I pick up the book. I sit there for about 10 minutes and I'm going to be like, do you want to go walk down the beach? He's like, no, I'm good. And then I go walk down the beach by myself and I come back and he's like, you just can't sit still. Like, you just cannot. You cannot sit still. And so he's like, you're crazy. Like, you
it's like a rabbit.
It's like a rabbit. Just keep going. And I got a message like, I don't know how to relax. Like, I don't know how to like really bring it down. Right. So now I'm older, wiser. Right. And I'm now starting to listen to my body, right? Which is different than I used to be, right? I'm still very active. I mean, I work out like 5 days a week, and I run, 5Ks and half marathons and all that kind of stuff. I'm still very much who I am, but my body has begin to say, "Girl, girl." Sat down somewhere. You are tired, right? And I am now listening to my body. So if self-care is not really replenishing the energy that you have, then it's more than likely surface, right? Like nails done, hair done. Those things are nice, but I'm always have to be in an active state of being when I'm doing those things. Right? Like I'm in an active state. Like if I'm getting my nails done, my hands is right here, right? I have to be in an upright posture to get my nails done, right? If I'm getting my feet done, yes, that can be relaxing to a certain extent, but when they start to polish my toes and all that kind of stuff, I got to be attentive, right? If I'm getting my hair done, no, like somebody is literally pulling on my head and I have to be active, right? Self-care is when you don't necessarily have to be active. You can actually get some rest and relaxation. So now what I do is I may go to a spa, but if I go by myself and I can take a nap at the spa, then that to me replenishes me because I don't have to be active at work. Right. See, I'm taking my energy from one thing and now I can go do another thing. Also, self-care is sleep. Can I say sleep again?
I was about to say, you might have to say that one again.
Sleep. We do not get enough sleep. And I'm the first to say that I'm doing better, but I used to get maybe 5 hours. I know. So I see your face.
5 hours.
5 hours, 6 hours of sleep a night because I am so busy. But when it comes to sleep, you have to make yourself go to sleep. And I literally see a difference in my life. So being a psychologist, I do experiments on myself. Right? So I do.
I was gonna say that's weird, but just spending this little bit of time with you, it's not weird.
It's not weird. Okay, yeah. So I'm actively in a take a lunch break experience, right? So that's the active experience, an experiment that I'm doing on myself right now because a lot of times we just go. Myself, and I know very high-powered women, I coach them all the time. We just go, and we don't take the break during the day. I literally have 12 to 1 o'clock blocked off on my calendar every single day, period. Every day, have had it for probably about two years. Do I take that break? Absolutely not. Am I finding myself and my energy depleting and draining? Absolutely. So now this whole week, and I'm always honest, right? I'm a psychologist, and so I can't be telling people what to do and not try to do it myself. I don't want to be a hypocrite. And so I want to eat my own medicine, right? So at that 12 o'clock, I don't care what I got to do. I mean, I got fires burning. I got people needing, can you get me this? Can you get me that? Not right now. I'm about to be sitting on this couch. I go sit on my living room. I have a beautiful office at home. I even have a beautiful couch there, but I go into the living room. I get my little throw blanket. I turn on the fireplace, even though it's about 80 degrees here in Hotlanta. I get a cup of coffee and I turn on the TV to HGTV because that's my favorite. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You're becoming so predictable. Like, I would so guess that you would like a channel like that.
Of course. It's the default channel in the Ramsey household.
Actually, I'm not going to say anything because my default channel is Cartoon Network. I'm not even going to front. Cartoons don't make me think. I can just enjoy them. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, my friends know I'm watching cartoons.
See, okay, so you cannot talk.
I will give you credit because I brought an electric blanket. And it's my go-to. And it was 80 degrees. And before I came here, I was under it because the heat just...
It's just something relaxes. About it, right? It relaxes you, right? So that's my current experiment, right? To see how different my body feels if I consistently take my break every single day away from my desk, right? So the other one that I do or that I did was bedtime. Right? Like I literally said, I have to go to bed by, see, right now it's 10:30 because house hunters come on at 10 o'clock.
My God.
House hunters come on at 10 o'clock. But even last night, I did so good. I got into bed at 9 o'clock because I was so tired. And I couldn't make it to House Hunters. And it was all brand new last night too. And I missed it, but I recorded it. And I went to sleep, right? So I have to be in the bed. So that's an experiment I did for myself. And after I did it for 7 days straight, I was like, I feel like a different person.
Really?
I promise you, y'all try this. Like these are all research-backed strategies that I'm giving you because when it comes to thriving and being happy in an unbalanced life, you have to have some tools and some tactics to actually, pull from, right? Mm-hmm. But I literally, and it's research-based that the more you get the correct amount of sleep, the better you'll feel, the happier you will be, the more productive you'll be as well at work and and doing anything else you do. See, because I get up at 5 a.m. every morning. So I am a part of the Miracle Morning, the 5 a.m. club going strong. But let me just say this, Ricardo. I used to be this way, right? I am still very much a night owl. I can stay up.
I'm nocturnal.
See, I could stay up like that all night. When I was getting my PhD, I literally would watch my family go upstairs for bed, say good night, and then come downstairs in the morning, say good morning. And I'm still sitting at the table doing research. Ugh. Like I'm driven that way, and I also can stay up that way, right? But when I learned about getting up early, it changed my life. No, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Number one, when you get up before everybody else, I mean, well, and if you live by yourself, then you're just gonna get up. Right? But here's the thing: when you get up early, it does something to your body, and you're able to really, switch it and focus in the morning and get more done. So, and it's also a beautiful time to set your intentions for the day. For me, I get prayed up and then I work out. And when you work out in the morning, your body releases serotonin, which automatically helps you feel happier because you've accomplished something. So the way my mornings look, I get up at 5 o'clock, sometimes 4:45. It just depends on what I'm trying to do. And I will go downstairs in my office. I sit on my beautiful couch, get my little covers and stuff like that. I read my Bible, I pray. And then I'll read something that is going to help me grow, right? Like I might be reading a book or an article or something like that that's actually going to pour into me versus all the stuff that's going to take my energy throughout the day that's not going to pour into me. Because I can get on Instagram and TikTok and everything like that. And y'all know we get sucked into the vortexes. And
God.
It's fun, but that's not necessarily helping you grow, right? So I'm giving to me before the world tries to take from me. Because the world is going to take from you, period, whether you want to or not, right? So I'm praying, reading something that is educational. And then I may even get on my, go to my desk and even start getting a little work done because it's in the morning and I can get work done because ain't nobody checking for me. Everybody else in my household is asleep. And so then my kids get up, I get them settled. They leave the house because my husband takes them to school, and I hit the gym. I have a gym in my house. Go Peloton, Kiki, if you do you love me on Peloton, okay?
Finish the story.
I got a Peloton tread and a Peloton bike, and I work out. And working out in the morning, I'm telling you, I know people who work out all day, all times of the day, like at night, but there's something about working out in the morning that makes you feel accomplished. When you sweat and you get that workout done in the morning, you are absolutely have accomplished something. And it helps me go throughout my day understanding that I'm already a winner. I've already won at something, and that was my exercise. And it don't ask me how long, it don't matter. None of that matters. I'm trying to tell you, there are some days that, and you should have seen me this morning. I ain't really want to work out. So I went downstairs and got on the I had my workout clothes on, but I still had my robe on. I'm just saying.
How does that even work?
Once you get hot enough, you're going to take it off. I'm just saying.
Your logic is not earth logic. That is...
No, whatever it takes. See, here's the thing. We will let, not wanting to and not feeling like it get in our way. We want to wait to do things in our life until when we feel like it, until we're motivated. No, what comes first is you doing the do, and then you feel motivated, right? So I know me. Here's the thing. I have this rule. There are some things that I don't compromise on. I don't ask myself questions about. I don't negotiate. Working out is a non-negotiable item in my life, right? I just don't negotiate. And when we can have this, and this is also research back, right? When we can have these non-negotiable things in our lives, then it takes the onus of willpower out of the way. Because, you can't always have willpower. No. Willpower will go out the door and leave you high and dry, right?
Fact.
You said you was going to do this, but you don't feel like it. And so therefore you don't do it, right? So for me, I have a couple of non-negotiable things in my life that I actually do, and working out is one of them. So I am going to work out Monday through Friday is my normal workout days. Come hell or high water. Now, do I miss some days? Yes, because I am human. But that's only because my schedule changes. I got to be out of the house super early or whatever, right? I even work out when I'm on the road speaking, right? Like I take my workout clothes. Most of the time, the Marriotts have Peloton, so I go log into their little Peloton bike and get up on there while I'm traveling as well, because we don't eat like we should too sometimes when we're traveling. So, but when you work out in the morning, that serotonin switch says, oh, you feel good. You've already done something. Go you. And then I get in the shower, and then I get to my desk, and then my day starts. And then all the stuff comes at me, but I'm able to handle it because I took care of me before the world was up trying to place demands on my time.
I like that. That
Yes.
was a good one. That was good. I'm still envisioning you in your workout clothes.
Oh, yeah. So let me tell you about that. So sometimes I don't want to work out. So, and I love my robe. I'm one of the people that, I tell you, if I could walk around in my robe all day, I would.
That makes two of us.
Okay.
I'm a robe person all day, every day.
I am a robe person.
I'm with you.
And so I got my kids' robes. They be like, what is they 4 and 5 walking around in their robe, okay? Like, my husband just be looking at us like, you do know it's hot outside. I'm like, but it's a robe. It's like, so I don't feel like it sometimes. So most of the time when I wake up in the morning, I'll put my workout clothes on, but I will put my robe back on over my workout clothes, and I'll go downstairs and I'll fix the kids' breakfast and I'll do all that kind of stuff. Well, this morning I did that, but I ain't feel like taking the robe off just yet. So envision me on the treadmill walking in my robe.
That's the part that's killing me. I can't let me see you doing it. That's the part that's killing me.
I'm gonna videotape it and I'm gonna send it to you. And then after about I say about 5 minutes. I'm hot enough that I'm gonna take the robe off, right?
I thought there was a method to this madness.
I take the robe off, but I still made it to my workout. Because here's the thing. I created a path of least resistance to still do what I need to do. A lot of times, most of us have so many barriers in order for us to do what we need to do in our lives. Therefore, we don't do it, right? So if working out is hard for you to do, but you always wanted to do it in the morning, sleep in your workout clothes. Do what you need to do. Put your shoes right there. Like I will, because my husband is still sleeping. I try to be quiet when I wake up in the morning. So a lot of times I don't like sleeping in my workout clothes, but I'll put my workout clothes in the bathroom so that when I do get up in the morning at 5 o'clock, they're already in the bathroom and I put them on and I go downstairs. I already have them on while I'm downstairs doing my morning, routine of prayer and all that kind of stuff. And so it really, really does work. The other thing that I do in terms of getting up, because I don't like to get up. So let's be clear. I don't like.
Sound like you do, because
now here's the thing. I don't like to get up early, but I love what it gives me. I love the results of what getting up early provides for my life. And so if my alarm clock, which is my phone, which is most of us, right? If my alarm clock is right beside my bed, scratch it. I'm not getting up. I'm not, because it is too easy for me to hit the snooze button.
Facts.
So my alarm clock sits in the bathroom.
How do you hear it?
Oh, I hear it. I'm a light sleeper. I got kids.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I got kids. So my baby's crying, even if it's the faintest of cry. Oh, I hear it, right? And so I hear it, right? Because in my bathroom, I ain't living in my bathroom ain't down the hall either. It's in the room, right? So I hear the alarm clock. I get up and I want to get up quick enough so it doesn't wake him up. Because I don't know if he hear it or not, because he still be asleep, right?
Like me, probably.
He used to hear it, and I tried putting it on my watch, which it can buzz on my watch, and I tried sleeping in my watch. But when it do, I just hit it on my watch and go back to sleep, right?
It's literally like right.
Because it's right there. So I don't. So I put it in the bathroom, and I literally get up, and I have a rule: you can't go back to bed. You can't go back to bed. Once you up, boo. So you better do what you need to do and get on downstairs and everything like that. So I make these rules. Like we have to have these rules and these non-negotiables in our life in order to help us get to where we want to be. I love giving people strategies to go from A to where they want to be. These are all strategies in order to do that, so that you can find joy and happiness in your unbalanced life, because it's going to be unbalanced.
Lovely segue to end on. Any tips for people who are trying to find the happy in their unbalance?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So first of all, be intentional. Set your intentions on how you want to live your life. Like that's period. I know how I want to show up. Right? A lot of us don't show up the way we want to show up in life because we're just letting life happen to us, right? Right? We're just going with the flow. But you got to be intentional. And then prioritize the things that really, really matter to you, that you want to give your time to. There's a lot of things that are going to come your way, but if you don't want to give it the time and the energy, and if you don't want it to sap your energy, you had to first be intentional about it, and then you had to prioritize the things that you need to get done in your life, right? And I know that a lot of us are busy, right? We're busy and we have a lot of things going on, but my family is important to me, right? And so if it's anything with my family, guess who they come first? God is important to me, right? Like, so faith is important for me. Those are at the top of the things that I do. And next comes the work that I do, which I absolutely love. But at any point that gets too overwhelming, I know that I have to take a break. And so you have to regularly schedule breaks. Breaks meaning take a break away from the things that are causing you the stress and the anxiety in your life. That can be for 30 minutes. It can be for 5 or 10 minutes. It can be for an hour, or you can plan a trip, right? Like I used to like to always plan trips, and I still do, but that's not always possible for everybody, right? That's not always feasible. And so in order for me to get away, sometimes I'll go to a whole day spa and spend the whole day so that I can get away, and I'm not checking email. I'm not checking my phone. I put my notifications that I am away, and I take that time for myself, and I'm just away. It didn't take me to get on a plane to go do that. I'm still here in Atlanta doing that. So you got to prioritize self-care, because otherwise you're not going to be good. You're just not going to be good.
How do people find you?
KikiRamsey.com. That's Kiki, right? I know there's a lot of Kikis out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, KikiRamsey.com, and I'm Dr. Kiki, or KikiRamsey.com on all social media. I'm on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. So yeah, I'd love to connect with you all.
All right, so there we have it. A very fun conversation with Dr. Kiki Ramsey. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys same time, same place on Blend Blazers podcast with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.
Whoop, whoop. Yay!